Hey guys, Andy McCann with CrossFit Garage, where intensity is king and routine is your enemy. First thing is we have a Facebook page for members only. If you're not part of that, come to CrossFit Garage Member Forum and ask to join, and we'll get you in there. On to the workouts. So I'm going to scroll through them real quick. You can pause the video and read all you want and not have to listen to the rest of it if you'd like. Okay, so we're going to start up with Monday's workout. For today, back squat takes priority. If this were the old-fashioned CrossFit days, which I'm totally fine with programming, let me show you what they did. They would do something like thrusters, 5 sets of 3, and that's all they did, right? So we're adding more into it, but I want you to understand, Josh wants us to have the priority on this back squat. So don't save for this. This is what we're going for. So we want our power to really be let loose inside of this back squat. So warm yourself up. That you're going to do 3 sets of 5, 65%, 75%, and that last set, 85%, you're going to do, instead of 5 reps, you're going to do max reps. You're going to go to town, ignore the burn, fight as hard as you can. On top of that, I would like to add in range of motion. So doing a squat that is 3/4 or 95% to the right standard is not really what we want. We'd rather you go a little lower than shortchange it. Let me show you that. All right, here's a CrossFit.com workout demo. Watch this guy go down. All right, so the hip crease right here is going to be below the top of his knee. So we want his hip crease below his knee. If you're not getting there, then we need to do that first before you go heavier in weight. Heavier in weight will make you want to stop a little higher. Let's see if I can get him to go back up. Yep, so you see, well, let me pause it. Some of you guys will stop here on a heavy lift. That's not good for what we're trying to achieve in this workout. It's not really heavy. That's the first important thing. It's form and technique. So make sure you get yourself all the way down. If you need to, that is great. Look at that. So if you need to, ask your coach to help you, and I'm going to tell the coaches to do this. Get medicine balls behind you, maybe stack some plates to get it the right height if you're taller than the medicine ball. So squat down to that thing, get a full range of motion. Yes, it might mean that your lift is less. That's okay. It is better to have a better range of motion than it is to have a heavier weight. When we started CrossFit, there used to be guys who would go 400 pounds, boom, right to there, and then back up. That's not even a squat, right? So listen to your coach. Don't shortchange it. Go all the way down. The next part of that is stonework and burpees over stone. So if you're going to use a stone, it is super important you spend time with the coach on how to actually get this ball up in the air. It is not terribly difficult once you get the knack, but you're reaching down so low that it is easy to throw your back off a bit there. So be careful, work with the coach. If they decide and you decide, hey, the 70 pounds is too much, then go with a smaller stone, right? So just be smart about what you're doing out there with that ball. There is a bigger ball, so you can do 115 pounds, but again, be smart about that. So one way to figure out if it's too much weight, in this case, especially after all the back squats, your leg's going to be smashed. But if you can't do like 3 or 4 or 5 reps, like lift the ball, drop it, pick it up, lift it up, drop it, and take maybe a deep breath between, then it's too much weight. So you don't want to stand there and go, look, I did in a 10-minute AMRAP, I did 9 115-pound stone to shoulder lifts. That's not what we're looking for. So decrease the single lift intensity, meaning the 115 pounds, that's intense going from the ground to your shoulder, and by removing the weight, because you can't shortchange the motion, it's got to go up and over your shoulder, but reduce the intensity by altering the actual amount of weight there. We do have a 30-pound wall ball that you can use if you want to try that also. Okay, so after your legs are going to be all squashed and killed, Tuesday we have a partner workout, and you can read through it, but essentially wheelbarrows, dumbbell carry, you can see the standards right here, and wall ball pass sit up. So it shouldn't be a killer on your legs. This partner wheelbarrow is going to, if you do it right, it's all in your core. So all these planks, all these hollow rocks, all the stuff that we've been doing on core should come to life when you are doing this partner wheelbarrow. So really squeeze down that core, and just don't try to like fall into a wheelbarrow roll. Like get yourself in a nice stable plank, and your coaches will help go over this right here. On days like this where it's a 25-minute AMRAP, so it's going to take 25 minutes to do the workout, probably, maybe 10 minutes to get set up and work through this, the form and so forth. This is a great day when you're done to focus on some of the things that you need to work on. Like, hey, coach, I would really like to do some pull-up swings. Okay, let's do that. My dips need to be worked on, or my handstand push-ups. This is a great day to stay and do some extra stuff. CrossFit doesn't have to be, oh snap, I'm on the wrong page now. It doesn't have to be, 60 minutes of all working out. That's actually not CrossFit at all. If you look at the .com workouts, there's not much to them. So when we started doing CrossFit, one draw or appeal of it was we could get a great workout in 10 to 15 minutes, 7 minutes, or if you're doing Fran, maybe even 2 minutes. And, well, maybe not 2 minutes. That's a really fast Fran. But you could do this stuff really quick and get a great workout, and then I could go out and do a 24-hour adventure race, and I didn't spend hours in the gym. So we would spend, maybe 30, 40, 50 minutes. But, of course, we have the classes segmented to 1 hour. So we do want you to use the time to be productive. But don't think, well, I've got to be like sweating for an hour. That's not CrossFit. CrossFit is the intense part. Okay, so then on to the next day. This goes to the idea of some days are 45-minute workouts. So you're going to do 3 rounds, and there's 2 800-meter runs. That's a mile, so that's 3 miles right there. Some of us, it might take 45 minutes just to do 3 miles. And you got some accessory or other work inside. So because this is so long, this changes the intensity profile of, hey, we're on the far extreme side of it's going to be more endurance-y. So this one, you want to find a pace that you can keep, and then as you enter into that 3rd round and maybe this last section, you start pushing up with whatever you have left. But if you come out of the gate just going super fast on this, I mean, that's 3 miles of running. Most of us are going to be scared just because we hear that. So this is a different one. This is impacting or using the totality of the workout, the 25 or 30 or 45 minutes. We want all this work done as quickly as possible. So running, you could sprint it all, but it's going to kill you to do anything else, right? So you have to figure out how much intensity is needed in order to elongate that intensity over a long amount of time, but shorten the total amount of time of the workout. So you don't want to blow it all out and then have to stand around and rest. You also don't want to go so slow that you never feel like you have to rest. Next day, deadlifts and bench press. Going back to that idea here in CrossFit, if you go through CrossFit.com's workouts, you'll see a lot of days where it is lift only. And there are reasons they do that. I'm not going to go into it here. Here they got all 3 lifts, but they're, or not 3 lifts, but, well, it's the same type of lift. It's 3, well, anyway, you can read it. My point is, you're going to see a lot of that on CrossFit.com. It's because lifting heavy stuff appropriately and smartly is, I don't know if smartly is a word, is a great way to increase your intensity, but also it gives us a chance to correct form. So you're going to see today, deadlift, same sort of scheme we saw before, bench press, same sort of scheme we saw before. The reason these are tied together in the same day is your arms shouldn't really be too tired from the deadlift, and your arms or your lower back and legs shouldn't mess you up too bad on the bench press. So these shouldn't overlap too much. So it's back in the day where guys would go to the gym and do back and bi, chest and try, and then legs. So you're alternating groups. But take your time on this. To do these workouts appropriately, like if you actually did a 5x5, it should take you probably 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So we are condensing it a little bit closer. We're just going to do 3 sets, 65, 75, 85, and then max out those reps. Be careful on the bench press. Obviously have a spotter. It would be insane to try to max out your reps without a spotter. And do that thing on the bench press where someone kind of like just feather touches and you can like knock out a couple more reps. So maybe talk to your coach about counting that. I don't think I'd count it, but I'd still do it because I love that, going extra. But be conscious of this, both these things right here. Once your form starts to really break down, like when you go to deadlift and you're doing something wonky that you've never done before, it's too much. On the bench press, if you start doing that like crazy back squirrely thing or your arms start flailing around, that's enough, right? If you're able to keep your elbows tucked in a safe position to help protect your shoulders and you're pumping along and the guy gives you a little bit of help at the last 1 or 2, whatever, talk to your coach again. But if you find your elbows poking way out, it's bring them back in or be done. So we want to protect our shoulders here. We want to protect our back here. We don't want to be dumb, but we want to find out how to consistently hold form while pushing through some heavy lifts. Down here, you'll see some accessory workouts or movements. All right, so Tabata's got a whole story. Research Dr. Tabata, and you can find that on your own. But in this case, we're going to be doing power snatches, pistols, and double unders. Pistols are pretty tough, so talk to your coach about scales. There's a lot of things you can do to get to a pistol, like put a plate under your heel, hold a weight out in front of you, hold your toe. You can wrap your foot around the other foot. That may be the best one. You can also use a like the pull-up rig to give you a little bit of support on your way up and down. You can also move over completely to squats. So talk to your coach about where you are on that. Your snatches, obviously power snatches, make sure the weight's appropriate. At 75 pounds, you should be able to work for the entire 10 seconds, maybe touch and go. If you can't touch and go 75 pounds for 10 or for 20 seconds, then you may want to consider a different weight. Double unders, this is a great place to throw in double under practice. So these movements are pretty gymnastically intense or Olympically intense. Pistols are no joke, double unders, no joke. So try to move with these with great intensity because you're going to get 10 seconds of rest, right? If you find that you can do the power snatches, you can do 15 of them and then you're smoked, well then take an extra 5 seconds of rest if you can't do those anymore, right? So you're going to figure yourself out. But Tabata is great because it's got built-in rest, built-in peak energy use, the exact opposite of what we were looking for on, what is this, Wednesday? So this is great cycling of the types of energy pathways and intensities that you can really get. This one being very long-term and understanding how to distribute your intensity across a broad time or a long time. This, another different type of time, is very short-based. So how do I be intense inside of this yet still maintain form? So this is a great week of various programming. You're got some fun AMRAP stuff in there, but the big thing I want you guys to think of through this whole week, and I'm the coach, have the coaches really harp on, is range of motion. So we got range of motion here with our back squats, range of motion here on the, so on running, it's not so much range of motion, but it's form. So we talked about this before. An easy one is draw a line down your forehead, through your nose, down your sternum, and don't crack or break that line with your hands. You shouldn't be wobbling side to side. You should be in a line, kind of like a choo-choo train, sort of. Let's see. So range of motion on this, make sure you touch your chest, go all the way up. Range of motion on this is stand all the way up. So these are kind of obvious, but a lot of people forget to touch their chest on this one. And last one, power snatch. Make sure if you're going to dip into the snatch, which you should on a power, so you're not muscling it, you stand up fully. And on the pistol, the depth is going to be suspect for a lot of us. All right, so there's your workouts. Toss any questions out. We're happy to talk. And again, range of motion is the key.